I find where the most advantages are is looking at large amounts of data for patterns, looking at how we can ideate and do many more alternatives, look at how we can actually assess different alternatives at a much faster speed, allowing us to come to the best answers for a specific project. One of the first things we have to do is realize that AI and these digital tools cannot differentiate between what's good data, what's bad data that easily. Our role is to be very critical about what we curate, how the data is interpreted, and how it's actually developed for these solutions to accelerate our workflows and come up with much more precise and detailed answers. The real strength of AI, as long as the data is well managed and well curated, is that it can really allow us to see true insights into what we're looking at versus just the sea of data that's there. And this will really allow us to be able to understand what's happening to our infrastructure and really extend the life of these pieces of infrastructure through better asset management, through more knowledge. The biggest risk with AI is the phenomenon of garbage in, garbage out. The reality is if we don't have good data that's going in, that's well curated, well understood, very well defined, then you really run the risk of getting false positives in terms of your answers, or even induce AI or such tools to giving hallucinations, finding trends that are not there. We really need to have a very strict protocol around the way we define our data and the way we manage it. It is so important that human judgment remains in the core of the loop. The judgment that we bring to all of these projects is so critical because much of what we do is actually intangible. We're actually finding the compromises that are right for this society, that is right for this community. The worst thing we can do is actually rely on the black box because there's just so many variables. Things we really need to think about are severalfold. One of which is how does New Zealand actually want to manage its data center capacity and its digital infrastructure? Often we think of infrastructure as, roads, highways, ports, airports, hospitals, schools, but in fact, digital infrastructure is becoming just as important. So how does New Zealand come together to have a policy around its digital infrastructure is critical, as well as its data governance. How is data collected? How is it managed? All of these things can actually give New Zealand an accelerated footing on the digital pathway.